live. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. The T is for Tracy. It's your girl, Tracy, AKA your favorite motherless child. Y'all know I got mommy issues, okay? So, but we are healing out loud right here on the Bold and Driven EP. Thanks for joining me again on this great Sunday evening. Um, Last week, when I launched the podcast, I gave you guys a brief summary on what we were going to be talking about on the podcast. And so I'm just going to recap. Again, as I say, this is Tracy, AKA Motherless Child. And if you follow me on any of my platforms, you know that I am on a healing journey. I am no contact with my toxic family, my toxic mother, and her abusive husband. And we will be talking about no contact. We will be talking about toxic family dynamics, toxic mother and daughter relationships, talking about setting boundaries with toxic family members, talking about flying monkeys, talking about gaslighting, talking about projection and family dynamics, just toxic family dynamics, you guys. And also, my main topic is healing from the toxicity and standing firm on your boundaries. So I want to thank you guys for being patient with me with starting this podcast. I know I've been advertising it for quite some time now, and I'm super excited about it. Okay. I'm going to be sharing a story time today. Story time, and we will have story times often because as a abuse survivor, because I like to call myself a survivor, and I'm not a victim, but as a survivor, we've been silenced for so long. So you just have to get it out. Okay. A lot of people don't agree with how I am healing out loud, but it's okay. It's okay because healing to everybody looks different. Healing comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, you know, meaning it's not my healing journey is not going to look like your healing journey. Okay. And vice versa. So this is what's healing me and giving me an opportunity to share my voice because a lot of people are still suffering in silence. So if you will, I could be I am the voice of the voiceless for toxic family dynamics, narcissistic personality disorders, let me see, financial abuse, emotional abuse, all of that. So we are I'm just gonna get into the story time, you guys. Okay, so this story time is dedicated to my mother. Okay, when she told me that she was going to take me out of the wheel. Okay. um and first I'm gonna ask a question. Have you ever dealt with is there anyone that's looking at the podcast, have you ever dealt with a toxic family member? Have you ever, being, it doesn't have to necessarily be your mother, but a toxic aunt or a toxic sister or a toxic brother, hell, even a toxic dad, grandma, anybody that's toxic. If you, or have you ever thought about going no contact with that toxic individual, you know, or have you gone no contact? How did you deal with that situation? within your family dynamic when there was a toxic family member. Maybe the matriarch of the family is very, very toxic. And how did you deal with that, or how are you dealing with it? Okay. That's a question. If you've had, if you dealt with a toxic family member, put it in the comment section for me. I want to hear about your story. So, anyway, this story is dedicated to my mom. We're going to go back to 2011, you guys. I, my family was getting prepared for a family reunion on the West Coast in California. So I was chosen to be on the family reunion committee, and I was working side by side with my aunt, which is my mother's sister. Okay. And by the way, my mother competes with this particular sister that I was working with as well. Okay, I was just reading a note. Okay. Yes, I have with my mom. She displays. Okay. She displays a trace of a narcissistic parent. Okay. So I feel you. I really feel you. Um, it's not an easy it's not an easy thing to deal with, dealing with a toxic individual in your family. And sometimes you don't even know what it is. For years and years and years, I didn't know what it was I was dealing with. I just always knew that my mother, would always make me an issue, or always had an issue with me. So back to story time, guys. Back in 2011, we were preparing for a family trip to California. And when I say family trip, this is like my sisters, my brother, my parents, my children, our spouses. We were all going to the West Coast for a family reunion. And I was over the talent show portion of the family reunion. And I thought that it would be a real neat idea if my sisters, my daughters, and my mom and myself, we all did a praise dance in the talent show. Because at that time, my daughters and we were on a praise dance team. Okay, so I thought that would be really, really cute to do a praise dance. And so I made it happen, you guys. I choreographed a praise dance. I picked out the outfits for the praise dance. We were dancing to I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kirk Franklin. I know everybody knows Kirk Franklin, but he had a song that came out called Smile, and it was a real popular song. So we made a cute little praise dance out of that song, and our costumes were so cute. We had neon colored shirts with a big old smiley face on them. I mean, the whole thing was amazing. It turned out to be something really, really beautiful. But in the process of us getting ready to go do the performance in California, of course, we have to practice. We have to learn the choreographic, the dance routine. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So my mother was giving me a hard time with that. And back then, you guys, mind you, I knew that my mom was toxic, but I didn't realize that I was dealing with a personality disorder. Okay. So we would always just sweep it up under the rug. Her behavior, we would sweep it up under the rug. Okay. That's what we've been known to do. That's what we grew up doing. We grew up, making her emotions the priority. Okay. So we was like, you would always say, well, why is she doing that? And then we would always say, well, that's just how she is. That's your mama. That's how she is. That old cliche. Okay. So she gave me a hard time throughout that process, but we got it done. Okay. We got it done. So we get to California, and the night of the reunion, we did our dance. We did our thing, you guys. It was a hit. When I'm telling you, the family loved the dance. People were giving me all kind of compliments on the dance, on the outfit, on the song, just on the whole entire routine. My aunt, she was giving me compliments, telling everybody how professional I was, how organized I was, and how I'm good at planning events. So of course, if anybody's giving me a compliment, that's not going to sit well with my toxic mother, because unbeknownst to me, she's in competition with me. Okay. So she's competing with me. I'm not knowing what it is at that time. So, when we were done with the with the family reunion, my aunt even gave me she acknowledged me at the banquet, at the family banquet. You know how you have a family banquet and they acknowledge you and give you an award or whatever. So that was too much for my mother to take. So by the time we get back to Texas, we're done with the family reunion. We're back in Texas, and people are still calling my mom, telling her what a good job I did with the family reunion and with the talent show. So my mom, this toxic mother, starts a rumor that I stole from her. Okay, that I stole, you know, something out of her closet, something from up under her bed, and the accusations of a toxic person, of a person with a narcissistic personality disorder. If they make an accusation, it's usually a confession. Okay, so if they're telling people that you stole something, usually they're the thief. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. So anyway, so she couldn't stand the fact that people were giving me compliments and praising me for such a good job that I did with the family reunion and being on that committee. So she starts a rumor, and that's to defame my character, to have people not look at me in such a in a high in high regards. Okay, she wants to assassinate your character. Okay, because people are saying, oh, she did this great, that was amazing. So the narcissistic toxic mother, that's too much for her ego. Okay, because she's in competition, so she's going to make up a blatant lie to assassinate your character. Okay, so she started a rumor that I'm stealing from her. So this is just to get the attention off of me. It's not really to get the attention off of me, but it's going to make it be negative attention. Okay, not anything positive. So when I get the text message, because that's how I'm retrieving the information. I'm retrieving this information through text messages saying that something's missing, and you stole this and you stole that, and my first initial um, reaction is like, is this a joke? Like this is it's funny, right? It's like, you got to be kidding me. But then once everything sinks in and you are really like, you're really accusing me of stealing something, I'm just like, so I just start ignoring. First of all, I told her, I said, I didn't steal nothing out of your house or out of your room or from up under your bed or in your closet or anything else. Didn't steal anything. So, I hope you find what you're looking for. But, you got the wrong one. So, I started ignoring the messages and the phone calls, because they gonna text message you. They gonna call you. And me, I'm gonna start protecting my peace immediately. Immediately, I'm gonna start protecting my peace. So I'm ignoring you. Okay. I hope you find what you're looking for. So with me ignoring her, that's not going to go well, because now the phone calls are getting more aggressive and the text messages are getting more aggressive. Okay. So now, since I'm ignoring you because I'm reacting to the accusation that you have just started this rumor throughout the family, and they're gonna say it to your siblings. They're gonna say it to anybody who they feel like look at you in a positive light. Okay, so they're telling your siblings that she stole this and she stole that, and and let me tell you something else. They do this during a time when they know that you're going through a hard time, because I had just lost my job. Okay, so if I lost my job, that's the reason why I'm in there stealing something. And so and that's not even my character. So my thing is, with the people that are listening to these stories from these toxic people, if you know me and you know that that's some BS, then I got an issue with you, because you sit up there entertaining the BS. Okay, so long story short, I'm still ignoring her and protecting my peace. Okay, and so since I'm ignoring you, Now they gonna take it up a notch. So now I'm gonna take you out the wheel. Okay, because I'm being disrespectful because I'm not responding to that bullshit that you're talking about. Now I'm being disrespectful. So now you're gonna take me out the wheel. Okay. And how I feel about that, take me out the wheel because I can't miss something I ain't never had. Okay. But how would you deal with that situation? How would you deal with that situation? Okay. So if you go no contact or low contact, they're still trying to reach out to you. They want you to still come around, okay, and be the butt of their jokes because they done told everybody in the family, your siblings, that you done stole some change or some BS out of the closet or whatever, and everybody knows it, and that's more like a won't. Right, right. So I lost my train of thought. I need to stop looking at the comments, you guys. Listen. So they so I that's reactive abuse, you guys. Long story short, that's reactive abuse. That's what I mean when you try to protect your peace and you're reacting to an accusation, and then they come and hit you with, oh, well, I'm gonna take you out the wheel. I'm gonna take you out the wheel. So that's reactive abuse. That's very, very toxic behavior, you guys. And what would you do? What would you guys do? Because what I've done is before I went no contact, everybody knows that I'm no contact with my entire family, basically my toxic mother, her abusive husband, and my siblings. And the reason why you have to go no contact with that whole family dynamic is because it's a system. It's not a family. It's a system. Okay. And when the scapegoat leaves, the system crashes. Okay, because they don't have anybody to blame anything on because the scapegoat has removed themselves from that toxic environment. Okay, so tell me, was I right in protecting my peace? Was I mean, I feel like if I'm not talking to you, that's being respectful, because if I do talk to you at that particular point, it's going to be a disrespectful conversation. Okay, so a lot of people think, like I said, this is not norm for people to go no contact with their family, and I get it. I get it, but people have been doing it since since the beginning of times. They just call it estranged family members. Have you guys ever had a family member that you knew about and you heard about them, but they didn't really too much come around the family that much, right? They didn't come around the family that much, and you was always like, well, you were always told, well, they don't like being around the family, or they think they're better than the family, or they're kind of strange, or they're kind of odd. The more I live and the older I get, I realize that those are the people that's protecting their peace. They done already seen that toxic behavior, okay? And they chose peace over chaos, okay? So that's me. That's me. I choose peace, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Peace is priceless, okay? You can't put a price tag on it. You can't put it's not, there's no money amount that you could put on protecting your peace. Okay. So producer, there was a comment that popped up and I wanted to address it. If you can pop it back up. I'm talking to my producer in the background, you guys. I'm not here alone. I got some of my fearless leaders behind the scenes helping me out. So producer, if you can put that question back up, or that comment back up. Exactly. These types of parents will kick you when you're down. Exactly. And that's exactly what they do. They study you to see your emotions, and they exactly what you're doing. Like every time I was going through a trying time and I reached out to my mother, she would always kick me when I was down. When I was going through my divorce, when I when I lost my job. Anything that I'm having when I'm having a hard time, and you think that you can depend on your family and that's who you're leaning on. Sometimes your family are the ones that, they say, you know, your closest enemy is always the one right close to you, right close to you. Yes. Okay. They will make up stuff to make people think that you are not the person they know. That's exactly true. That is exactly true. So, a lot of people, and you'll be surprised what people envy. Okay. It's not material things. It could be your personality. It could be, how other people like you, or how other people, think highly of you. Okay. So that's what they're envious of. It's not what's on you, it's what's in you. Okay. So once you realize that, the game changes. Okay. You have to protect your peace. It says, yes, I have a missing uncle right now, and my other uncle told me to move as far away from the family as possible. And I agree with that. That's one thing that I do agree with. Um, you know, Getting away from that toxic environment. You know, you tell me this. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I even don't want my children subjected to the toxic environment, you know and sometimes you just have to just totally detach from that, because these toxic individuals, they will try to turn your children against you. Okay, anybody who don't like me, don't be pushing up on my kids, because if you can't like them because they came from me. So leave my kids alone. Stop trying to turn my, because guess what, my kids are getting educated over here. We healing over here. Okay. A lot of people can be jealous of the type of relationship that you have with your children, with your daughter, with your daughters. Okay. They can be upset or jealous because you actually have a relationship with your children. Okay. If you know better, you do better. Okay. Let me read some comments. Can you put that comment back up, producer? It says you are 100% right, because it will ruin your kids and cause confusion. It is. That's what that is. And I'm gonna tell you guys another story, and then I'm gonna get off of here. But when I decided to go no contact with my mother, I saw my mother treat my daughter the way she's been treating me all my life. And then at that moment, I knew that this is it. No, we not doing this. We stopping the generational curses right here, right now. Okay, because my daughter start noticing the patterns. Okay, and you're gonna hear me say patterns more than more than often. I will say patterns, because that's what you have to pay attention to when you're dealing with toxic individuals. They have a pattern of behavior, and if it's a pattern of behavior that continues, then that's toxic. That's not accidental. To me, that's intentional. If there's a pattern of behavior that you do, that's intentional. And the reason why I say it's intentional is because emotional abuse is so much different than physical abuse, you guys. Because physical abuse, you can see it. Okay, you can see it if somebody done dotted somebody's eye. Okay, but emotional abuse, it's hard to put a finger on it because you can't see it. Okay. And to me, that's the most dangerous type of abuse. You can't see it, but the wounds are definitely there. Okay. So when you start projecting your insecurities onto my daughter the way that you did me, oh, that's when I got to stand up and say, nah, the buck stops here. We're not doing that one. We're not doing that one. Okay. So I've been no contact. It'll be almost a year, you guys, coming up in May. And what I'm telling you, if you go no contact and your life becomes peaceful, then you ain't lost nothing. You have not lost a damn thing. If you have gained peace, and my health has gone better, and I'm off of medications that my doctor put me on because I'm protecting my peace. Come on now. I asked God to show me who was for me And when he showed me who was for me, my family wasn't on that list. Okay, imagine that. Because when God is about to elevate you guys, everybody can't go with you, and sometimes that includes your family. And now I know exactly what that means when they say everybody can't go with you, you know, and you got to be ready. Sometimes you ready to evolve, and the people that's around you is keeping you from evolving. So God is going to find a way to get rid of them people, even if you got to go no contact with them. Okay, that's the way I look at that, you guys. So that's my story, and that's what I'm sticking to it. And yeah, so be sure to check me out every Sunday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. We've got some more story times. We got some more healing to do. And in the meantime, you know, like, share this podcast, and we'll see you guys next week right here on The T is for Tracy. Peace out, y'all.